Simon, a fantastic 60-0 win over Whitehaven on Sunday here at the Shay to make it, I think it was 4 wins in a row in all competitions, going into a massive game here at the Shay tomorrow on the back of some really good form. Would you agree?
Yeah, we're getting there. Thought we started the game really well last week. Got a little bit wasteful, but we did enough in that first 30 minutes to sort of dampen their chances or sort of put out the fire in Whitehaven, if you like. Yeah, some really good stuff. It felt like a bit of a practice match in the end. That's not meant to be disrespectful, but when it blows out like that, it's not really any sort of real game speed. But yeah, we got some good stuff out of it. Obviously areas to work on as always, but yeah, I think we've been showing some good signs in our last few that we're on the right track really to get in some form that we can be happy with.
It followed a bit of a similar pattern to the Newcastle game, however, the one up in the North East, we maybe conceded a few tries when we got a bit soft in defence. Was it really pleasing that you managed to kick on in the second half like you probably discussed after that Newcastle game and put a big score on and kept them to nil?
We weren't far off conceding though. I thought we were fortunate not to concede. Chris Terr dropped the ball on his way over the line. But yeah, look, we have been up a number of times at half time, so nice to come away with a 0, but again, they're never perfect, they're never as good as you think, never as bad as you think, so as much as we were good on the first viewing, there's still stuff in there that we need to improve, and there were some bad stuff that probably at the time I was a bit annoyed about, and they're not actually that bad in the grand scheme, so you just got to move on to the next one, Faz, that's what it is every week, and not get too ahead of yourselves.
So we'll move on to Friday night then. St. Helens, the World Club champions, 4 times Super League champions, Challenge Cup 6th round. We've done really well in this competition so far to have a game here, big game in front of a massive crowd. It's all set up to be a really good game. Is it a bit of a case of all the pressure's on them and you can go out on there and play with the freedom that we've shown in recent weeks?
Yeah, I don't know if there's pressure on them. Obviously we're in Championship and they've been at top of Super League and there's quite a bit of distance between that, I think. Yeah, look, an opportunity to play against the world champions, as I've said already, and it's a really good opportunity for us to remind people what Super League looks like, I suppose, bringing St. Helens, a big club to Halifax, and it's been 20 years since the last one, so I think it's just a really good opportunity for us to enjoy. And since, aside from the performance bit on field where they've obviously been really good and consistent, they've been very good and consistent off it, continually churning out local players to push through. We've obviously got a solid amateur setup over there, a couple of strong teams I can think of off the top of my head, but yeah, they bring someone through, they take probably 1 bloke from Championship every year, and they're constantly progressing and moving forward, and that's probably afforded them the form and the rewards they've had in the last few years. The World Cup Challenge probably knocked them off kilter for the start of this season, but they'll be on their way to putting a few wrongs right and all the rest of it, and I'm sure they'll be using this game to make sure they do that. And it's not that long ago we played them and it ended up being a lot tighter affair than anyone thought. Some luck on our part, some effort, desire and scramble from us, and we got in amongst it for a bit, which was really pleasing. It was a contest for a while, and that's how we want this one to be. We'll need some luck, but we just want to compete, stay in it, and try and test ourselves against who are the best team on their achievements over the last few years.
They've had a few suspensions, a few injuries, rested a few key players, but they're still going to come with that Super League quality. But seeing that on paper, does that give you a chance, sort of a feeling that you can really go out there and give them 100% of what you've got to try and get the win? Because we're all in this business to win. I know it'll be difficult, but that's got to be the aim, right?
Yeah, you always want to win. No one takes the field to lose, do they? But yeah, their squad, they've got a few missing. They've got Super League's best ever player missing, but they've got very capable replacements to push in between. So yeah, off that I expect a few of their younger lads to get games. That's just the nature of how a Super League team would approach this game, I think. But they're probably, between the bans and some injuries they've got, they haven't got much choice but to play probably a stronger team than they might have wanted to play. But yeah, littered of internationals, strong players, experienced players in big games. It's just a really good test for us, as I've said before, and we've got a number of lads who've played Super League. We'll get a taste of what Super League speed feels like again, and some will experience it for the first time, with aspirations of going back to Super League or making Super League at some point. So I think it's just a good look for all of us in many different areas really.
And like you said, they've got some of Super League's best, we've got some of the Championship's best, we've got top try scorer Lachlan Walmsley, Joe Keys, a real big influence on the way that we play out there on the field. How do you see this game going? Is it important that we don't fall into the formulaic way of play that maybe Super League are guilty of and just go out there and really stick to what we do best?
Believe it or not, we do have a plan every week, we don't just make it up. No, I think the thing for us is just don't go into your shell, because the easy thing, it's the hardest thing, but it's the easiest thing when it gets tough, is to just try and lump it out and get through sets, and Saints they'll eat us up if we do that. So we'll have to try and challenge them, bit of ball movement and whatnot, but we'll also have to be really good to execute that, because they can handle all that as well. Everyone tries it and they seem to come out on top more often than not. So yeah, we've got a few things we need to work on. We've not had a lot of time to practice it, to be honest, but a few things we'll have a look at doing to try and make the most out of our better qualities, and just see how we go, really. You said it earlier in this interview, Faz, where is the pressure on them? I'd argue there's no real pressure on them, but there's certainly none on us. The thing for us is just leaving this ground tomorrow night with our heads held high and making sure we put in a performance we're proud of.
Now, you mentioned there that it's a bit short turnaround, it's part-time versus full-time. How were the boys pulled up in training this week? They've not had a lot of time to get the bodies ready for it. Do you have an injury report? We saw a Reeby Dorrell limp off in the last game. Are we pretty much close to 100%, or are there a few?
Yeah, we'll have a couple missing this week for different reasons. Injury, but whether it's a sustained injury that's been there a while and whatnot, or something new. But this week, yeah, we obviously really short turnaround, a couple of hours together, really. Tuesday was very slow pace, just looked at a couple of stuff. We'll just try to do it all a little bit faster tonight, and hopefully most of the lads have got the day off tomorrow. I know there's a few of them that the bosses are being a bit snide and not letting them have a steady day. They've got to get the job done, so that's how it is at the Championship. We'll turn in and it's just like another training night. You get your day's work done, turn in and do your job, and as I say, we're all up for it. Nobody wants to get embarrassed or whatever, so they're all proud lads. They want to go out there and give the best shot, so I'm sure we'll see that.
We beat Featherstone Rovers, Barrow Raiders and the Bradford Bulls to get to this stage to earn the right to play the World Club Champions. 4,000 tickets sold at the Shay, the TV cameras are here. This is a real reward, no matter what happens on the result on the night, that these boys have been rewarded for what has been a fantastic cup run to date. Would you agree?
Yeah, definitely. The boys have been good. They've copped a lot, because the expectation is we win every game, but we're playing in a very tough comp that's a bit all over the place at the minute, with a lot of teams improving, so it's been tough so far, but I think we're starting to see the better side of us. But yeah, listen, for someone who's seen Super League in this stadium in the not too distant past, it's a different version of myself, a lot younger, more air and all that, but it was great. Busy stands, busy around the club, and inviting these big teams in is really good. And it's nice, as I said again earlier, repeating myself, it's nice to give people a look of how it looks when you're in Super League and it's busy and you got more than 300 or whatever it might be in the very quiet games that we have on occasion. But yeah, I think just a good opportunity for our local kids around here to have a look at what it does look like, because they don't see it often enough, and that's something we have to strive for in the background, and that'll be a process that one day hopefully we achieve it. But yeah, when these guys come around, particularly with being St. Helens and world champions, we have to make the most of it and make it a good deal for everyone.